Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me Shail Patnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. It's a quiet day on D Street, panning out to be smooth day as far as Friday is concerned. 35 points higher on the Nifty. 25,845 is the current level. When we look at the kind of sectors that are supporting the sentiments, you have autos that are driving the show today. 1.1% higher. Infra, pharma, financial services, and the banks are supporting the sentiments on the D Street. The top movers on the Nifty include names like Bajaj Auto, that's sharply higher in trade. Over 4.5% of an up move can be seen on this one at 10,368. It's been hovering at record high levels. Coal India, Sun Pharma, Tata Motors, Hero Moto, ICICI Bank remain the other top movers as far as the Nifty is concerned. On the downside, you do have some stocks like ONGC that's seeing some profits being shaved off. IT names like Wipro, LTI, Mindtree, HCL Tech, Infosys, TCS, these are the ones that are on the back foot today. Nestle and some of the other laggards are like Cipla. They are also lagging behind in trade. The PSU stocks are hovering okay right now. Coal India, BPCL, HAL from the defense space. These are the stocks that are still buzzing within the PSU pack. And as far as the F&O space is concerned, it's Indigo that's sharply higher by over 5% in trade today, followed by stocks like Bajaj Auto, Dixon Technologies, and even TVS Motors. Good afternoon, Shail.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. While it might be absolutely flat on both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, the action is in cash markets, and you'll be surprised to know, pleasantly surprised, which is the top traded counter, CDSL. Post bonus adjustment, 10% higher. Needless to say, this is a record high, 1607, and 2,700 crores worth of transactions have taken place. Please understand, this is double the price. The stock adjustment will on the chart reflect a little later, so you'll have to add back 1,300 rupees to 1,600 for the stock price to be effective. In effect, the actual price is 3,200 rupees, and that is what needs to come into the picture. Of course, and Sakshi, followed by Zomato, again moving towards a fresh high. Nykaa is the heroine in the making, 8.6% higher. 2,100 crores worth of transactions that have happened on Nykaa, including the block deal that was there in the morning, 1.4 percentage points by an existing pre-IPO investor who controls about 6.4%. So there is still some amount to come in. And surprise, surprise, Tata Technologies, it got listed 3 months ago, and now is coming back in the limelight post the first quarter. 2.4% higher. RVNL. So the first four counters, ladies and gentlemen, in the top traded are cash only. The fifth is Indigo, where we had a research report coming in day before yesterday, price target above 5,000. And then comes, ladies and gentlemen, HDFC Bank. Very low volumes, 1,100 shares, 1,100 crores. And the entire market actually is awaiting this Jackson Hole US federal event that is likely to take place tonight in Wall Street. Therefore, it's a quiet trade across the board on all major global indices. They want to see the tenor of the speech that the Fed chair will make on Friday evening. That's why Wall Street is calm, US futures are calm. All of them have rallied. In fact, we've rallied for the 6th day in a row and added about 870 points to what you see as 24,840 on the chart. So this is an exciting time. Let us see what brings the next 1 hour. And in terms of all-time highs, you have Fortis, Bajaj Auto we'll discuss shortly, TVS Motors we'll discuss shortly, and a whole host of pharma names that are very familiar over the last 1 week. Sun Pharma, Suven Pharma, Natco Pharma, and Apollo Hospital. Sakshi.
Right, let's welcome our guest on the show. Amar Singh, Senior Vice President Research at Angel One, is with us. Warm welcome to you, Amar. Good to have you with us. Well, tell us, how are you assessing the move in the markets? Definitely a better off week than the last is what we've actually seen. We are consolidating right before hopes that we will be retesting the 25,000 mark. All eyes on the auto space.
Yeah, I would say that if we look at the markets, we are seeing some sort of sector rotation also happening. because earlier the charge was being led by the the auto stocks and no primarily it was the IT stocks, and then we saw auto stocks taking over, and we also saw currently we are seeing pharma stocks also doing exceedingly well. Earlier, we had seen FMCG stocks also rallying significantly. So it's a sort of sector rotation also happening, which I would say is a healthy sign. And as far as our indices are concerned, we have to understand that indices are driven by these 50 stocks, wherein the majority, maybe 50-60% is by 7 to 8 stocks, like HDFC or Reliance or ICICI, these stocks. So overall, the trend remains strong and positive for the indices as well. Yes, we are seeing some fatigue definitely in terms of Bank Nifty, because till the time we don't see HDFC Bank really firing or SBI firing up, we could see some sort of consolidation, but with a positive bias nonetheless on the indices. Having said that, auto stocks, yes, they have rallied. Bajaj Auto is the leader of the pack and is trading at record highs. So some of these auto stocks have been doing quite well and expected to do well. That's the reason we are seeing this sort of up move. But the big question is that what do investors do at these levels? Do they enter at these levels or do they wait for correction? Sometimes a correction that never materializes. So these are certain challenges which markets generally tend to face when they are trading at record highs.
Okay, 2:38 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, and I must compliment Amar on wearing a beautiful tie. One of those rare instances where you see a wonderful tie on air. So congratulations. Whoever has bought this for you, please compliment him or her on my behalf. It's a wonderful looking tie. Let's get to markets. Amarji, very strong breakouts happening on Bajaj Auto and TVS Motors on account of Ola's listing. The EV business of Ola has now a market value, and the market in its supreme intelligence is trying to input a similar value to the unlisted EV businesses of Bajaj Auto and TVS Motors. What are your thoughts on these two stocks? Do they have fresh momentum coming in? What is your view?
See, if you look at Bajaj Auto in particular, it has been on a spectacular rally. And it has been on a significant up move. And if you look at the different time frames, because generally what we see is that when a stock is rallying significantly, so we need to understand the long-term trend and the intermediate-term trend. So the long-term trend for Bajaj Auto still is very strong. It did witness some consolidation, which was reflected in the intermediate-term trend, but that high has also been taken out.
Yes.
So it's very important that Bajaj Auto needs to sustain above the 10,300 level. Currently, it has breached that level. It's up by almost 4.5% and on significant volume. So the key point here is that does Bajaj Auto manage to sustain over the 10,300 level consistently? Then we could say that we could witness a further rally, or maybe then we could witness some profit booking. Talking about the other stock which you mentioned, TVS Motors. So if I look at TVS Motors, has got a different chart as compared to Bajaj Auto. TVS Motors is stronger even on the intermediate term trend vis-a-vis Bajaj Auto. So this is one stock which one can definitely keep a close watch on. It has breached the 2600, 2650 zone of resistance, trading significantly above that level. So there is an upside potential in the stock towards 2950, 3000 level. But at these levels, one needs to be, I would say, slightly cautious, definitely.
I'll request the PCR to fire the longer term chart of Bajaj Auto. There is an interesting point I'd like to mention for super long term investors, Sakshi. Today's gain is 4.6%, and this is the cumulative 1 year performance that you see. Today's rallies come up on 4.3 times 5-day volume. So please remember, when a stock moves more than 2% to a fresh record high on volumes that are exceptionally high, this is a trend which might continue for a long time. So we have not only changed a digit from 4 to it has become a 5 kind of a stock, 5-digit stock, and this one day move probably is a precursor of better days to come on Bajaj Auto. One more point, this is not the largest maker of two wheelers, but the most profitable one at least. So please keep these 3 or 4 things in mind when you look at Bajaj Auto and think कि 10,000 रुपए का शेयर हो गया, ये यहाँ से भी क्यों बढ़ता जा रहा है. That's what the thought is behind this. Sakshi.
Absolutely. So that's the stellar runner that we have actually seen on Bajaj Auto, and we'll continue to track it even going forward from here. Even the auto ancillaries are also buzzing today. Amar, so what would you say? Stocks like Minda Corp, they are making a strong comebacks, 11% higher in trade today. How are you looking at some such stocks, and what appeals to you at the current levels?
So if we look at the auto stocks, overall we are seeing some very positive momentum again in the auto stocks and also auto ancillaries, as you rightly put up. And there we are seeing some sort of up move which is clearly visible. So if I look at some of the stocks in the auto ancillary, like in the tire stocks, I would say that Apollo tires is witnessing some sort of correction, but again it's trying to inch up towards the 515, 520 level. If that's breached, then the stock could witness some sharp up move. The other stock in the auto space, again Ashok Leyland, is also I would say very strong on the long term, on the intermediate term trend. Short term we are seeing some sort of consolidation, but again that's a positive. Looking at the some of the other stocks in the auto space, I would say we are seeing some sort of consolidation happening in the Exide industries, and the stock is somewhere around 500 odd levels. So ideally, on any significant correction, this can be a stock to look at, not at the current levels. Then again, we are seeing some positive traction building up in Hero MotoCorp. This is one stock which did consolidate, did correct, again has started inching up over the last few days. So this is one stock which could rally towards the 5600, 5650 levels. And amongst the other stocks, I would say Samvardhana Motherson is also one stock which has bounced back. It's up almost 2% today, and on the weekly charts also there is some upward traction. So this could rally towards 208, 210. So it could be a 4-5% rally in the stock, because that's going to be a zone of resistance. So yes, overall we are seeing some sort of bullish biasness in the auto ancillary stocks as well.
These are good names to take, and of course Hero Motors is following the lead of the two other players, which is TVS Motors and Bajaj Auto. Just a note of caution here, TVS Motors started moving on that very strong upgrade that came in from UBS one day ago. The price was above 13?
Above 3,300.
Above 3,300. And of course, Bajaj is moving because Ola got listed, and Ola is correcting because Ola doubled in 4 sessions. So that's how life is, ladies and gentlemen. It comes to a full circle. Nobody in the market was valuing the EV business of either Hero or TVS or Bajaj Auto, and it just took a spark at the listing of Ola कि अगर इस कंपनी का 50,000 करोड़ मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन हो सकता है, then let us find the unlisted, let us find the a potential market value of the unlisted businesses of auto two-wheelers. That's how beautifully the markets work. शादी कहीं हो रही है और पार्टी कहीं हो रही है.
Interesting tale. So this is something that we will continue to track even going forward from here. One more stock that Chelhayo had pointed out, we'll ask Amar also his view on the CDSL stock, which is trending right now. And of course we do know the company had announced bonus issue earlier in the ratio of 1:1, which means the company will be issuing 1 free share over 1 share held. As of the record date, that is tomorrow, August 24th, and therefore you see the adjusted price right now. And we have already seen the stock rally for last 10 at least out of the 12 trading sessions as well, and CDSL has been an outperformer for sure. How would you look at the stock now? For those who have missed buying the stock by the X date, what will you tell, Amar?
See, if you look at CDSL, definitely a dream run in the stock. The stock for in this week itself is up by 14%. In the quarter, it's up by 33%. Month in the month, it's up by 27%. So it's been a phenomenal rally for the stock, and the stock has been a multi-bagger because if we go back to last year, April or something, it was around 400, 450 odd levels. So it's up by almost 4x. Those who have missed the bus, I can only say that you'll have to wait for some meaningful correction, or maybe this is one stock if you want to add to a portfolio, can definitely look at adding to your portfolio even at the current levels. But then you need to average it out in case you witness a correction. So maybe a stock SIP mode could be a good way because Indian markets are definitely going to see higher highs, and in terms of growth across the ecosystem, and in terms of market participants, in terms of the investor community, that number is also going to grow manifold. So the company has a bright future, but if you need to invest, then you have to look at it more from a longer term perspective and look at more from a stock SIP mode. So that will be a better and a more viable option going forward.
Actually, we are unable to show you the correct value of CDSL even on long term charts because the bonus issue adjustment will happen post market close today in our stock prices. But to say a very, how should I say, cautious line, it's better, Sakshi, to look at the Bombay Stock Exchange rather than CDSL because BSE is a 15 percentage point equity holder of CDSL.
Okay.
So whatever price expansion has happened in CDSL will reflect positively on the market capitalization of BSE as well. And BSE is much below its all time high of 3,300 rupees. You know, just 2 weeks ago, Sakshi,
Yeah.
I distinctly remember you and I marked it at 2,200.
Yeah.
That enough is enough. And there were two major developments that day. SEBI wanted to ban everything in options, if not more. And I think there was results also that day, if I'm not wrong. So it bottomed out at 2,200. And relatively speaking, it offers a better opportunity than CDSL for long-term investors to look at this one. I think even MCX is at a record high today. So it's a AMC theme that is running, and we have all AMC stocks at one place. Let me just mark that out for all our viewers. Okay, IIFL Securities 5.7% higher. Another company called IndiCap Securities, where our friend works, 5% higher, 16.09. Nuvama 2.4% higher. I think there was a block on Nuvama today. And of course, CAMS is up 1%, LY is up 3.9%. Mr. Sandeep Bandyopadhyay is the CEO of IndiCap Securities. Sakshi.
Okay, got it. Let's get you to talk about some more pockets, Amar, beyond the auto ancillary spaces. Indigo, how are you looking at this aviation stock now? It's been again, trading higher. How would you really look?
If I look at Indigo again has been performing exceedingly well, though over the past few months it has been moving up, but more, I would say, on a quieter basis. But if I look at Indigo on the long-term charts, so it clearly still there is a long way to go, because if you look at the stock on the PE, that's around 23 odd levels or so. And if we look at the way the company's profitability has also been increasing from the March quarter till the June quarter, that also has been significant. So I would say that this is one stock again from a longer term perspective makes sense to have one in one's portfolio. But again, I would say that you have to have a stock SIP mode for such stocks because if there is a correction, that means you can meaningful add to your position and hold from a long term perspective. Don't restrict yourself to 6 months to 1 year. Maybe 3 to 5 years is ideally what you should be looking at. Then you have a higher probability of being on the right side of the market.
Okay, so that's as far as Indigo is also concerned. One more space that I wanted your view on is the new age internet space, and especially within that space, Nika, the way it has moved up today in trade, 8.5% higher. How are you really looking at Nika's comeback? Will this be sustainable? Do you find confidence in things turning around for the positive for the company?
So if we look at Nykaa, actually it all has started with Zomato, wherein the company turned positive. So that was one I would say one I would say investor sentiment which really changed for all these new age digital companies, and Nykaa definitely has been a beneficiary. If you look at the stock was again one of the wealth destroyers like Paytm, because from 428 levels, the stock traded as low as 114. Currently, it's almost double that. It's around 226 odd levels and on significant volumes. So the stock now has breached very crucial zone of resistance, which was earlier around 220 odd level. So sustaining above 220, the stock has a potential to rally towards the 260, 270, 250 to 260 levels, provided it sustains above the 220 level. Also, what we are seeing on the long term charts and the intermediate term trend, the momentum is very strong. Even in the short term trend, the breakout has been on significant volumes for the last few trading sessions. So the key is the stock needs to sustain above the 210 220 mark for any meaningful rally of 15 to 20% on the upside.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 253. The Nifty is still in the green, and that's a very, very big plus. I'll request the PCR to fire a long-term chart of the Nifty. This is, of course, intraday. Resistance again at 24,850. Yes, this is the one, maybe a shorter-term one over the last 1 month or so. So actually, we've added 850, 860 points in the last 6 sessions. Of course, it's a pause kind of a move today. Not only is it ahead of the weekend, but as I had mentioned in our earlier commentary, that across the world, people are now waiting, especially traders and investors, on the commentary of the US Federal Reserve, which will happen late midnight today, India time, on Wall Street. And the only thing that the Wall Street and everybody else in the market is looking at is the extent of the rate cut. 25 basis points or 50 basis points. 67% of the market feels 25, and 33% of the market feels you get a nice juicy 50 bps. And should that happen, this is of course in September going to happen, then you will have a risk on trade, which essentially means everything and his or her mother will rise. Metals, equities, except for bond yields and dollar index, everything will go up. And that is what, ladies and gentlemen, is required. Large parts of the Indian investing universe is sitting on cash, which is either mutual funds, ultra HNIs, PMS schemes, and of course a whole host of retail investors as well. All of them want better prices. Let us see what happens. Sakshi, if there is no indication, then I am sure you will see a double top formation on the Nifty, and then the index will again slip back. Let us see. Umeed par duniya kaayam hai, and all the people investing in equities have to be unbridledly optimistic. Sakshi.
Right, let's welcome our other guest also on board now. Mr. G. Chokalingam, the founder and MD of Economics Research, is now with us. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Chokalingam. Good to have you with us. Your sense of how are you looking at the current market moves? Do you think this will take us to beyond the previous record highs as well? Do we have that inherent strength, and what will take the markets higher, if at all you believe so?
Yeah, I firmly believe that Sensex can hit even around 88,000 or even probably 90,000 by end of current fiscal. What can drive the market is Sensex and Nifty stock. That is my strong faith. The reasons are basically all of us know the solid growth story. Along with that, now into the good monsoon, and with the Fed, most likely to cut down the rate within a couple of months. That also would be positive for the Indian market. That probably could see reversal of FI flow back into the market, and already the rupees at a record low. So therefore, rate cut in the US can induce more inflow into Indian market. So therefore, I believe the Sensex and Nifty would drive. And second, some of the select some small and mid cap stock also would drive up the market. One healthy trend which I am saying for last few weeks is that many perception driven stocks are correcting. They already corrected 20 to even 40%. So this is a very healthy trend. I was afraid that the whole pack would see the crack, but we are seeing now healthy trend of mostly the perception driven stocks cracking, but other quality stocks mostly standing out. So they should also continue to provide leg up to the market in the short to medium term.
Fair point. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Chokalingam. Welcome on Market Today. I'll request the PCR to file Indoco Remedies. The stock is doing well in the last 4 or 5 sessions. 364, 365 is the price. One of the rare picks that you mentioned publicly, yes, 364, my God, my memory serves me right. So what now on Indoco, now that the entire pharma space is clicking in the green? Is this enough, or are more good points headed for Indigo?
Most pharma stocks have already played out, as you know. But as coming to Indoco, we have a target price of 420, which is based on 3.5 times valuation for domestic formulation, around 2.5 times for other businesses. I think that is a very fair valuation. So I'm pretty confident that Indoco can touch easily 420 if market conditions remains like this. And apart from that, we have by recommendation on Dr. Reddy. These are the 2 stocks right now we have a firm view, and otherwise many pharma stocks already played out, and they're priced quite fairly.
Okay, got it. Well, we'll thank you, Amar, for being with us and sharing such wonderful insights. Always a pleasure to host you. Thank you so much for being with us. And we also will be joined by Mr. Rujit Jain shortly, but we'll continue our discussion with Mr. Chokalingam till then. Mr. Chokalingam, the one stock that we haven't discussed with you because you were not there in the last 6 days is Ola Electric, and its fantastic rally that we've seen post its listing. But again, from last 2 days, there is some correction happening. The stock is down by about 19% from its record high already. It went up almost 100% as well post its listing. How are you looking at this new story, new age IPO?
Yeah, last 10 days, most channels where I was interviewed, they were asking on Ola. I was not willing to give, but coincidentally, I already prepared the notes. I was expecting you to ask me. I guessed that I would be asked this question. Now, I will give a methodology to the investors. Investors can take a call whether it is a good buy or a good sell. But as an analyst with the 3 decades of experience, how do I look at a stock like this? I will present it. See, market cap is around 56,000 crore, and it is making losses of around 1,200 crore if you annualize. Yes, people like a new age stock, technology stock, fine. Now, if as an analyst, if I have to buy the stock, I say I have a 5-year investment horizon. Now, this company, the market cap should move to 90,000 crore, which will be about 60% return in 5 years. Because in 5 years, if you put money in the risk-free instrument like bank deposits, you will get about 40% return. Since it is equity and that to loss-making company, anybody would expect minimum 60% return. That means the market cap should move up from 56,000 crore to 90,000 crore in 5th year. And at that level, if I am justifying the stock at say 30 PE, it should make net profit of 3,000 crore 5 years down the line from a loss of around more than 1,000 crore, or if 1,200 crore annualized. So if any investor believes that Ola Electric can make, 3,000 crore at the end of the fifth year, it's a blind buy now. And there are already 30, 40 people who are entering the, EV electric. Already the established player also slowly capturing. So I am not saying it is not possible, but this is a way to look at it. If I have to invest for like 5 years to justify, I expect a 60% return, and the company should make, 3,000 crore profit at the end of fifth year. So if investors think it has got the capability to do that, please hold it, or even every fall you buy it. If we have any doubt, and then stay away or even sell it. So I am not sure whether this company will make 3,000 crore and make a 90,000 crore market cap at the end of the fifth year, because I haven't met the management. I don't have any tools to forecast that.
Right, sir.
That's my answer on Ola.
Right. Let's analyze the other rivals, Mr. Chokalingam. A very strong move coming in on Bajaj Auto today, mainly account of the market value of EV business that has come via Ola, and the relaunch of Jupiter at TVS Motors. How do you see these two stocks now? Both of them record highs. Do you think they have fresh momentum, or they are also overvalued? We also welcome Ruchit Jain, to whom we'll speak in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay 56,000 crore to Ola, I am sure you can pay even 30-40% extra market cap to these well-established players. Of course, if you ask me personally, I will not buy it, but definitely in relative terms, they are more attractive than Ola, according to me. And within that space, probably Hero MotoCorp looks better than TVS and Bajaj Auto.
Okay, got it. Let's welcome Mr. Ruchit Jain also into the conversation. He's now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Ruchit, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, Ruchit, since we've been speaking, and you're, of course, to introduce you, he's the lead research analyst at 5paisa, and everybody keeps on seeing him on our channel. Ruchit, how are you assessing the auto move today, and do you think there is enough momentum here that even one can buy today despite record highs being seen on some of the top automakers?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon, Sakshi. Very good afternoon to everyone. I think, yes, the auto space, if we look at the entire basket, then I think there would be some stock specific momentum which would continue going ahead also. We have clearly seen a relative outperformance from the two-wheeler space. You take a TVS Motors, Bajaj Auto, post the recent news flows. Now, the thing is that if you look at the Bajaj Auto, last 2 months it was consolidating within a narrow range, and today it has resumed its uptrend. Now, the good thing is that even after this up move, if you look at the volumes which are happening at current levels in both the stocks, TVS as well as Bajaj, the volumes are quite good. So this clearly indicates that even higher levels, there's a good amount of buying interest which is there in stocks such as Bajaj and TVS. So we believe that this outperformance, because of that price volume action, which is indicating fresh buying interest here as well. Even in derivative segment, we have seen good amount of fresh long formations happening. So I think, yes, there is a good room for this move to continue going ahead. But no, since the stop losses are a bit deeper after this today's up move, so I would suggest you can go long, but the quantity should be limited. One should be not very aggressive to chase at current levels, but buy some quantity at current levels in Bajaj Auto and keep some room that if you get any kind of dips below 10,000, 9,800 range in the near future, then you can add more quantity at those levels. So keeping a positional perspective, still I think both the stocks have no room that it can continue its uptrend on the higher side. But one needs to take care of the quantity that you go in fresh at current levels, because when you're chasing the stock after an up move, you should always keep a room to average at lower levels.
Fair point. This is the view coming in on two of the most talked about stocks in the social media space today, Bajaj and TVS. Ruchiji, according to you, what looks good on charts which can be had for either the remainder part of the day or maybe even on Monday?
I would prefer no taking new positions only for short term, no, for next week maybe. So Bharti Airtel is one stock which is looking quite positive over here. Here also we have seen some decent time-wise correction now since the end of June. That is July and August almost we are nearing end. So last 2 months the stock has seen a sideways move. But in this entire consolidation, the stock has not even closed below its 50-day exponential moving average even once. So which clearly shows that this is just a time-wise correction, and there are signs of a resumption of a uptrend from this level as the prices are on the verge of breakout of this range. So the risk-reward ratio is favorable over here, keeping a stop loss below 1440. I would no recommend going long on Bharti Airtel over here, and I think we should see new highs in the stock very soon. And 1560 to 1580 should be the target range in which one can expect over here.
Okay, got it. Let's get Mr. Chokalingam also back into the conversation right here. Mr. Chokalingam, how have you assessed the recent few days move on the entire pharma space? And beyond Indoco Remedies also, are you picking up on any other stocks that could be looked at as fresh buying opportunity within pharma?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one or two stock I cannot talk because of personal investments. Apart from that, as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Reddy also looks too good for me. Nearly 10,000 crore of net to forex earnings, and more than 7 to 8 joint ventures and marketing arrangements with the most reputed global firms. All this would augur well. As I mentioned, rupee depreciation also would augur well for Dr. Reddy. I mean, in terms of valuation, also 1 year forward P is only around 20. So I like, Dr. Reddy, because for one more reason, I've been writing to my clients that minimum 50% of the equity asset class should be invested in, the large cap. And I believe Dr. Reddy is one such a qualified large cap stock to invest.
Okay, got it. Let's get in even Ruchit into the conversation to find out about what opportunities exist here. Today, Sun Pharma is definitely taking the lead within the Nifty, 1.5% higher in trade. What looks good to you within the pharma space?
So overall trend for the pharma stocks still looks positive. Couple of names, if one has to take a fresh position over here, one would be buy in Sun Pharma, where we have seen a gradual up move getting continued, no signs of reversals. And the good thing is that whenever we have seen the minor corrections which have come in, we have not seen any kind of volume-based selling happening in the stock. So I think this should lead to a continuation of the outperformance. Technically, if I put some retracements on previous correction, then it gives a potential targets around 1850 to 1870 range. So from current levels also, from a trading perspective too, one can expect levels around 1870. So fresh long positions can be formed over here. And apart from this, if one is looking for some positional perspective within the pharma names, Alchem Laboratories have very good chart structures, where recently we have seen a breakout at the start of the August from that 5,500, 5,550, which was acting as a resistance since last few months. Post that breakout, the volumes have started increasing gradually in the stock. Technically, it's a bullish flag pattern which is in formation. And once we see a breakout from this, then we expect a resumption of the trend. So here also the risk reward ratio remains favorable, where the downside seems to be very limited. So Sun Pharma and Alchem, these are two picks from the pharma names which we think could outperform from this sector.
That's very sensible advice coming in. Mr. Chokalingam, would you want to comment on CDSL, a 1:1 split, actually a bonus readjustment, and the counters up 10% on huge volumes? What is actually happening? Is this overpriced or is this a precursor to another rally?
No, CDSL story is slightly different. Of course, fairly valued, no doubt at all. If somebody has an investment horizon of more than 2 3 years, definitely one can hold it. Because of the structural change, all of us know, almost every week, even now, 7 to 8 lakh new investors are coming in. And BSE took 140, more than 140 years to get the investor base of 4.5 crore. But in last 12 months alone, BSE got over 4.5 crore new investors. So today it is quite close to 18 crore, and this trend is going to continue. Massive inflow of investors will continue, and that would be highly positive for CDSL. So definitely, very long-term story remains absolutely intact. So if somebody wants to wait for 2 3 years minimum, it's a good hold. In case it declines even 5%, one can consider buying this stock.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as the capital markets related stocks and CDSL is concerned. Mr. Chokalingam, how about Nykaa? Do you have any positive comment or view on this things turning brighter, or would you still see this as a dead cat bounce for Nykaa?
No, I don't have courage to buy or give buy recommendation. Consolidated EPS 3 paisa, and on current P is in 4 digits, more than 1,000 if my memory is right. So I have not
Yes.
seen this kind of PE even in 2000 January, February. So I don't have courage to give buy call or buy the stock.
That's true. In your coverage universe, Mr. Chokalingam, have you added new stocks which you may want to sort of buy into at lower levels where financials and growth prospects look good, but the price is not to your liking?
I'm extremely sorry. I couldn't get you exactly.
Have you added new stocks to your coverage lists, sir, where you are waiting for prices to correct lower to get into them?
Innova, you are talking about Innova?
No. Let's talk about.
Sorry, my apology. I couldn't
No
get.
issue. No issues at all, sir. Any view that you would have on the textile space?
See, textile is a little confusing. There is a good exposure to Bangladesh for yarn. Of course, there is an opportunity in terms of garments, but then there are reports indicate that Vietnam is likely to grab opportunities. So I am not overly bullish on textile. If somebody is holding quality stocks like KPR mills, they can continue to hold. But otherwise, I wouldn't be able to recommend any other stock at this juncture.
Okay. Got it. How about Raymond then, Mr. Chokalingam? Within this space, again, we've seen some bounce come back on the stock today.
So it has already become a phenomenal multi-bagger thanks to partly the land bank. So, I mean, those who are lucky may hold good profit, but I would not initiate a buy recommendation at the current level.
Okay, got it. Let's get in Ruchit into the conversation now. Ruchit, within the F&O space, there's one more interesting name that's coming back after a long haul. Dixon Technologies, 3.5% higher within the F&O pack. How are you assessing the move here?
So in fact, it's just a resumption of the uptrend what we have seen off late. Positionally, the stock has given very good returns. There are similar charts such as if I look at Dixon and even Trend. Although both belongs to completely different sector, but the kind of price movement that we have seen in both the stocks, any minor declines that we get are witnessing good buying interest over then. Again, if you look at the volume action, then on price correction, we are not witnessing any kind of high volume based sell off, but when the stock is going up, the volumes are increasing. So, which is a good sign. So, I think this is a sign of a continuation of an uptrend. So, any existing positions are there, they should continue to ride this trend. And no, I don't think there are any cautious signs for now in Dixon Technologies.
Right. Sakshi, 2900 is when I had a conversation with a very senior investor in the market, and at that point of time this stock had corrected from, I think, 5300. Let's just try and show the long term chart of Dixon, please. Okay, this is the intraday chart. We are looking at the long term chart. Yes. Okay, maybe a little more longer term, and then you'll see the benefit of a PLI scheme. And this is how it works. For the moment, see 2644, and then it went all the way down to even much less, and from then on it's a secular 1 point kind of a rally. Mr. Chokalingam, because you analyze markets on a very nice fundamental basis, amongst the PLI beneficiaries, which do you think is a company which is worth adding to the portfolio? There are 4 or 5 that come to my mind. Dixon is one. Second is PG Electroplast. Then you have Virtuoso Optometrics. There's Optimius. So many of them. Which is your favorite PLI play?
Yeah, among all these, Dixon looks far better. So,
Okay.
in terms of the performance, so one can continue to hold. If there is any small fall, also one can buy Dixon Technology.
Mr. Chokalingam, 13,000 rupees stock has doubled in the last 8 months. Normally you avoid such names, but what do you like in Dixon that you recommend a buy even at these very high valuations and very high levels?
No, I won't give. If you ask me, I am not giving buy recommendation.
Okay.
Since you asked view, if somebody wants to hold it for long term, definitely among those four, this is better. But to be very frank, I'm clarifying. I normally don't buy these kind of stocks. As you rightly said, my fund is very simple. I have missed so many opportunities, but the way I look at this, I have compromised on values to some extent because pure value play, you will not be able to make money for your clients. So what I'm trying to do is that instead of sticking to peg ratio of 1, I'm willing to compromise to 2. So in a common sense language, if stock is trading at 100 PE, see that the profit is growing at least by 50% on year basis. So that is a compromise I'm making. So whether it is a Dixon or PG Electroplast, if they are fulfilling this condition, then one can buy and hold. But otherwise, it is better to stay away from any stock.
Okay, got it. Apart from this, it's almost 3:17. Ruchit, can we discuss with you any BTST, STBT trades that you can share with our viewers?
So I think overall the trend for the market is still positive. So even from a BTST perspective, I will look for buying opportunities itself. And within the entire space, I think Tata Consumer is one stock which has seen some correction in today's trading session, and now it's again trading around its support. So I think here the downside seems to be very limited, and today's correction should be used as a buying opportunity in cash segment over here. So I would recommend going long on Tata Consumer with stop loss below 1178 and expect some targets, a pullback move towards 1230.
Okay, Tata Consumer, we'll look at that as a BTST candidate as well. Within the FMCG space, Mr. Choklingam, do you also have any preferences of late? We have seen some improvements coming across the board, but are these going to be sustainable?
Possibly, yes, with a good monsoon and also, the entire small cap and mid cap continue to rally. It is better to have parallelly some defensive stock. Obviously, that is from FMCG, thanks to good monsoon. Monsoon has already become a surplus. So stocks like, Nestle, ITC, one can continue to hold or one can even buy. Certainly, you are not going to make any big money the way people make in small and mid cap. But tomorrow, if there is any correction in the market, it would give a very good defensive, advantage.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's now start wrapping up the market. Sakshi, it's been a great week. Let's look at the Nifty and the Bank Nifty on the longer term charts, please. We've added almost 830, 840 points in the last 6 sessions, and ahead of the weekend, ahead of a major event, the Nifty is going strong and is less than a percentage point away from its all-time high, which was 25,074. Let's see whether we open gap up on Monday, or do we have a disappointment. Let's be optimistic and plan for a gap up. Similarly, the Nifty Bank is now poised very well on the charts, above 21 EMA, above 50 EMA, and over the last 6 sessions has added 1,350 points to its tally. The all-time record high is somewhere like 53,400 or so, if I'm not mistaken. So that's quite a distance to go. Pharma, IT and FMCG have been the kings of this week. Very, very strong move coming into stocks such as Sun Pharma on a weekly basis, Aurobindo Pharma, Lupin, Glenmark, Natco in particular. All these stocks have shown very, very good strength in terms of weekly changes, and many of them have figured consistently on record high levels. What has not moved? Perhaps defense. It's been a very, very weak bound trade, lots of profit booking happening, lots of money being taken away from the table, and what has come back in circulation are the railway stocks today, and of course there's no stopping CDSL. Sakshi.
Okay, and even some more AMC names like Edelweiss
Yes.
Financial Services also some 7.5% higher in trade. So they're also making a comeback within the capital market. Some interesting moves right there. But Mr. Choklingam, I wanted to also understand from you, since you are positive about the markets going forward from here, where do you think the driving factors will come in from in terms of sectors? Are there any key sectors that you believe will now outperform versus the others?
Definitely, to a large extent, Reliance, because I cannot put Reliance as any particular sector. It's an economy itself. So Reliance would be on forefront, followed by FMCG sector, and thirdly, maybe to some extent, even pharma sector. These are the three sectors. And the banking sector should be neutral or even underperform, because there are many headwinds. You have a credit growth slowing down, credit to NBFC slowing down. Then there is a regulatory requirement for cutting down the CD ratio, credit deposit ratio. There is a necessity for making loss provision for expected credit loss. So there are so many headwinds suddenly erupting for banking sector. So otherwise, those three sectors, along with even engineering stocks like L&T, these are the four segments I am expecting, support to both the Sensex and Nifty.
And Mr. Chokalingam, how are you looking at the upcoming Jackson Hole Symposium meeting from the US Fed tonight? What kind of an impact should Indian markets be expecting? Will there be at all any, or should one be tracking their own course?
I don't think there will be any negative impact. I am pretty confident that US Fed will cut the rate within 2 months. Very interestingly, the oil price is down, and US oil output is up 350% in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And OPEC also is going to release more oil, which is a single factor which will drive, the Indian market particularly, because it is going to have a multiple effect. And that will also help US to cut the Fed rate, because it anticipated inflation will moderate. So I am pretty confident, the US Fed decisions will be favorable to emerging markets like Indian market.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have 7 minutes left. I'll show you some interesting data that will keep you occupied in terms of charts over the weekend. We'd just like to point out volume changes happening within Nifty, and we've discussed two in great detail, which is Bajaj Auto and of course TVS Motors. But surprise, surprise, Sun Pharma, Sakshi, 2x volumes. It just slipped our radar. 1776, needless to say, this is almost an all-time high. And today 35 lakh shares, 34.77 lakh shares to be precise, have been traded on Sun. Ruchit, I'll request you to look up to the charts. And Hindustan Unilever, who thought about this in the morning? Coal India and BPCL, these are the three other stocks where volumes are more than the 5 times daily average. So we'll keep this in mind. But coming to you, Ruchit, Sun Pharma, what is it telling you for next week?
Looks quite positive. I know last few days we have seen a gradual up move in the stock, and as you highlighted that the volumes have been very high today compared to its last few days of daily average volume. So clearly indication of the continuation of the uptrend. I think 1860 is somewhere around which one can expect targets next 1 week.
And Sakshi, the moment we step into FNO, two interesting but unusual names have breakout volumes. Ambuja Cement, 7.5 times the 5-day average, which is now 1.41 crores. And Ramco Cement, I can't remember the last time you and I discussed Ramco Cement.
Yeah.
This is 6 times the volume, 820 rupees, down negative territory. Bajaj we've discussed, GMR Infra, okay, this is something we should be looking into. And Indigo, 5% higher, 3x volumes, 33 lakh shares. Mr. Chokalingam, how do you see the cement sector now, given that Ambuja is raising funds by selling a stake, probably building up a cash war chest, and of course Ultratech's most recent purchase? Are the good times over for cement as a whole, and are mid-cap targets in the cement sector looking good? What is your top pick there?
Yeah, the cement sector, as you all of us know, is going through a difficult time. The volume growth is expected to be poor single digit as per the rating agencies. And, the capacity utilization also likely to be around 70. So, short to medium term, I don't see any great opportunity from the cement sector. But however, there can be great opportunities from the small and mid-sized cement companies. We have already seen 2 cement companies being taken over recently from Andhra. The last one was India Cement. And the valuation, if you look at these two acquisitions, one was at $80 per ton, India Cement was at $100 per ton. I believe there can be a great opportunity if we can, analysts can shortlist or investors can shortlist some of the good quality cement companies in South which are trading at a substantial discount to this $80 ton per ton of capacity. So something like KCP Limited, this stock, it has fabulous cement capacity and land bank, surplus land bank in Chennai. Apart from that, it has got a hotel, profit-making hotel venture and highly profit-making sugar business in Vietnam.
Yeah,
So
hi.
if I give valuation for other segment, the cement business is only $10 per ton. So this kind of analysis one should do and pick up, three, four small and mid-cap cement stocks, because I believe that the consolidation process, which we have seen in the last 3 months, would continue. There could be more, further acquisition. I'm not forecasting acquisition of KCP, but I'm generally saying that industry there will be more acquisition. That would create opportunity rather than blindly banking on entire cement sector for investments.
Okay, got it. 3 minutes to go before we wind up the edition and the markets as well for the trade. Thanks a lot, Mr. Choklingam, for being with us on the show and sharing all your thoughts and ideas. Last word from you, Rijit, before we let you go. For the next week, how should investors be prepared for on both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank? Strategies right there.
So overall market trend continues to remain positive. We have not seen any negative crossovers happening on the daily chart. And main from this week's move, what one can find out is that the market breadth has remained very healthy. So when the market breadth is healthy, this clearly indicates that there has been more of a buying interest which is happening in the markets. So we may see some gap up or gap down based on the international markets momentum tonight. But I think if any correction comes, then that should be taken as a buying opportunity. Downside for the indices seems to be very limited, and we believe that markets would head higher towards new all-time highs very soon.
Okay, got it. Well, thanks to you also then, Ruchit, for being with us on this special trade and helping all our viewers right there with your strategies. We start winding up now, 328, 24,837, about a 26-point uptick on the Nifty right now. Autos all the way, which have been in top gear today and have supported the sentiments in trade, be it the two-wheeler stocks like Bajaj Auto, TVS, Hero, or the four-wheeler stocks like Tata Motors. These have been the driving factors. Apart from this, several other auto ancillary stocks zoomed in trade. Look at Sundaram Brakes, for instance, that was up 20%. Circuit, Minda Corp was up 13%. These were the kind of stocks that aided the sentiments in the auto space today. Apart from the auto pack, we did see Coal India, the energy basket, some PSU names like even the oil marketing companies supporting the sentiments in trade, like BPCL also in trade today. Apart from this, we also saw HAL come back into action, over a percent gains coming back onto this defense major in trade today. Bharti Airtel, Sun Pharma, Bajaj Finserv were the other top movers on the Nifty, while the top drags included stocks like ONGC. You can clearly see some profits being shaved off here. IT space remained on the back foot. Wipro, LTI, Mindtree, HCL Tech down and out. When we see Titan also saw some profits being taken off, about a percent lower in trade. Asian Paints and Divis Laboratories were the other top drags right here in the markets. Barring the auto, the infra pack, rest of the sectors all slipped into the red today, led by the realty stocks that were down by 2.4%, followed by IT, PSU banks, oil and gas, mid caps losing some ground. India VIX rose up sharply, 3.8% higher at 13.5. So we'll have to continue to monitor that the next week when we open up. FNO movers, Indigo, Bajaj Auto, Dixon Technologies and TVS Motors. Anything else you want to add, Shail?
Sakshi, I think a note of caution. We've sort of rallied sharply and against the grain of what is the sentiment in the market, which is people are just waiting for a correction, which obviously never happens when you wait for a correction. And this is a time when fresh flows continue to come into mutual funds, and this is also a time when promoters, many of them are taking advantage of sky high valuations and buoyant markets to partly sell their stakes. This is a dangerous concoction, and obviously a note of caution has to be injected. If we open gap down on Monday because of unmet expectations from the Jackson Hole speech, then probably we will have another bound of consolidation. Remember, since August 2nd, when we hit the previous high, till August 23rd, we've had a sideways to narrow band, except for the past 5 days. But as equity investors and long time watchers of the market, we remain extremely optimistic in life, and in particular for markets.
Right. On that note, we'll end this fantastic Friday. It's been a great week. Hope you all have a great weekend ahead, and we'll see you back on Monday morning. Stay tuned with us on Business Today. The action continues even beyond the stock market hours.
सरकार और किसान संगठनों के बीच बहुत ही अच्छे माहौल में सकारात्मक चर्चा हुई है। किसान संगठनों ने जिन विषयों पर ध्यान आकृष्ट कराया है, संज्ञान में लेते हुए विस्तार पूर्वक